I have kept a strange kind of company for a very long time. I have sat with the dying, more of them than I could ever count, in tents and towers and small back rooms, and I will tell you what nobody who has not kept that watch would ever guess. The dying almost never speak of death. They speak of small things they walked past, a door they did not knock on, a trip planned every spring for 30 springs, a father's hand they were too proud to take. I sat with a man once who had built half the roads in his province, and in his last hour he spoke only of a lake he had meant to swim in as a boy, and never did, though he crossed it by bridge 4,000 times. What nobody tells you, and what every one of those rooms taught me, is that the great regrets are almost never about what people did. They are about what they postponed. So tonight I will give you 8 lessons gathered from those rooms, and I want you to hear them while your hands are still warm and the calendar still bends. And I will keep the last one for the end, deliberately, because it is the one that makes grown men go quiet. You will need the other 7 before you are able to hear it. The first, the people you love are on loan. Nothing signed, nothing promised, no terms stated, not one more year, not one more ordinary evening, not one more of those phone conversations you cut short because you were tired, and there would obviously be 100 more. The loan can be called at any hour, and it never sends notice. I knew a man who kept meaning to visit his mother. One province over, a journey of 2 days. He meant it every harvest for 9 harvests. He was a good son in every way that costs nothing, and he loved her, and that is precisely what made the postponing so easy. Because love kept assuring him there was time. When the word came, he made the journey in a day and a half, faster than he had ever traveled in his life, and arrived in time only to help carry her. I have watched people learn this lesson in a single afternoon, and the tuition is terrible. So go, while the door still opens. Ask the question you have been saving. Say the soft thing that embarrasses you. Sit with the old one and let them tell the story you have heard 40 times, because there will come a day when you would trade a year of your life to hear it told badly one more time. The second, your body keeps every promise you break to it. It keeps quiet books, your body. For years it says nothing. It absorbs the short nights and the long sittings and the meals eaten standing up like a beast of burden that loves you. And it does love you, which is the only reason the books stay closed so long. Then one day, usually a completely ordinary one, it presents the ledger. I will not frighten you with this, because fear is a poor gardener. I will only tell you what the old ones knew. The body forgives more than it should, far more, right up until the day it cannot. Begin caring for it, before it has to ask. Walk, sleep, eat like someone who plans to be present for the good part. Not 8 changes. 1. The body notices one kept promise the way a neglected friend notices a letter. The third, no one is coming to hand you your life. This is the lesson of the waiting rooms, and I have seen more lives spent in them than in any war. People wait to feel ready. They wait for permission, for the children to be older, for the money to be safer, for the fear to quiet down first. And you have done this too. You have been waiting to feel ready, perhaps for years, for something you could name right now without thinking. So hear what the dying know about readiness. Ready is not a feeling that arrives, it is a decision that leaves, walking out ahead of you into the thing itself. The feeling you are waiting for comes afterward, or it comes never, and either way the ones who lived did the thing first. The permission you are waiting for does not exist. There is no office that issues it. There is only the door, and your hand, and the plain fact that both still work. The fourth, set down the account book of wrongs. Every grudge is a debt you record in a book that only you keep, and here is the cruelty of that arrangement. The debtor never sees the book. He is out in the sunlight, eating his supper, sleeping his sleep, while you sit up at night doing the accounts, paying the interest yourself, in your own hours, out of your own peace. I sat with a woman at the end, who had carried a wrong for 50 years, and she said the strangest thing. She said, I finally forgave him last winter, and I am angriest about that, because it took one evening, and I had priced it at 50 years. One evening. She laughed when she said it, the way people laugh at a lock they had guarded for decades before thinking to try the handle. Forgiveness was never a gift to the one who wronged you. They will likely never know. It is you, walking out of a prison you were the only guard of. Burn the book. It was never accurate anyway. And stay with me now, because these next two are the quiet ones, the ones that come up in the small back rooms more than any others. The fifth. Your work will not remember you, your table will. I knew a man who missed 20 years of suppers building something important, and it was genuinely important. I will not pretend otherwise. When he died, the important thing replaced him within a single season, smoothly, the way a river closes over a stone. But at his house, his granddaughter kept his chair empty at the table for years, would not let anyone sit in it. That chair was the whole accounting of his life, and he had spent almost none of himself where it stood. Nothing you build will weep for you. The desk forgets by Friday. The table remembers for generations. This does not mean abandon your work. Work is honorable, and providing is a form of love. It means know which one is the furnace and which one is the fire, and stop feeding the wrong one your only wood. The sixth. You are living on a borrowed schedule. Somewhere you picked up a timetable for a life. By this age, this. By that age, that. Married by then, arrived by then, finished by then. And you have been running behind it your whole adult life, breathless, apologizing to it. Stop a moment and ask the only question that matters. Whose ledger is that? Who wrote it, and when did you sign? I have watched 10,000 lives find their best chapter in the exact decade the timetable had marked as too late. The orchards do not consult one another about when to bloom. The late tree is simply still becoming, on the only schedule that was ever really yours, which is the one your actual life writes as it goes. You are not behind. You were never in that race. You only stood near its starting line once, long ago, and mistook the noise for your own. The seventh. Keep death at the table. This will sound dark to modern ears, and it is the opposite of dark. In Egypt, long ago, they would carry a small carved figure of death through the banquet hall at the height of the feast, so that every guest would see it and remember. And the feasts of Egypt were not sad. They were the brighter for it. The wine tasted like wine. There was an emperor I knew of who did the same thing privately. Each morning, in a journal he never meant anyone to read. He would remind himself, in plain words, that he could leave life at that very moment, and to let that fact decide what he did and said and thought that day. He did this to sharpen his mornings, never to darken them. Death at the table is what makes the bread taste of something. Hide it in the cellar, as your age prefers to, and everything upstairs goes bland, and whole decades slide past, like an afternoon. Invite it back, it is a courteous guest, and it never lies to you, which is more than can be said of most of what sits at modern tables. And now the last one. Come close, and let the room be quiet for it. The eighth. It was never too late. Every person I have sat with at the end believed, at some point in their life, that it had become too late. Too late to change, to apologize, to begin, to go back to the lake and swim. And I will tell you what they wept over in those last rooms, because it was not death. Death they made their peace with, almost all of them, faster than you would believe. They wept because they had spent years, decades, whole marriages, and whole careers, waiting for a better time to live. And the better time never came, because there has never once been a better time, anywhere for anyone. There has only ever been this time, the one still warm in your hands right now. Hear it again, you were never late. Too late is a story the frightened mind tells to excuse itself from beginning. The man who plants a tree in his last decade still eats its first fruit. The apology offered 40 years on still unlocks the same old door. The lake is still there. The water does not keep records. Every one of those dying rooms, every single one, had a window. And outside the window, the world was still going on, still open, still willing, right up to the last hour. That is what they saw at the end, and that is what broke them and healed them in the same breath. Not that time had run out, that it had been there, all along, wide open, while they waited for it to announce itself. It will not announce itself. This is the announcement. One of these 8 lessons is yours. You knew which one it was the moment I said it, and you know it now, sitting exactly where you are. That one. Begin there, not at some better time. There is still light today, and today you are early. These 8 are simple, but simple is not the same as easy. Sit with them. Let them find their place in you.